when you speak, and Radikasa, Makumanto, yeah. For there is peace and stillness when you speak, and Radikasa, Makumanto, yeah. Radikasa, Makumanto, yeah. Radikasa, Hayamasa, and Sani, Akuma, Ebubu, Enyeni Dasu, Radikasa, Makumato, yeah. I will lift up my eyes to the hills, for where cometh my help? My help cometh from the maker of heaven and the earth. I will be still, I will be still, I will be still, and know that you are God. You are God, the Lord. You can
Hello, lovely people. It's such an amazing opportunity to come your way once again. We've all had a wonderful Sunday. It's still Sunday, but I don't know how your day has been for you, but mine has been so awesome. And just like we do all the time on the Inside View, we educate people and also we share the success stories of many lives. And today is not an exception, or like an exceptional. And I have with me an amazing young man who has won many awards through his artworks. And I would just like to say something briefly about him. He has over 22 years work experience across different departments of commercial banks. He's a consultant, HR strategist, talent advocate, and certified coach. Employee relations expert who managed employee relations and HR projects of an international bank and holding company. Initiated and facilitated the implementation of HR and business policies that enhanced employee experience and organizational performance. He facilitated and managed the first Nigerian bank financial for the Nigerian Nollywood industry. He is a practicing artist who has produced over 200 paintings. He has a bachelor's degree in fine art from the University of Nigeria, a master's degree in human resource management and employment relations from the University of Warwick, and is currently a full-time PhD student at the University of Leeds, UK. He is an alumnus of the Harvard Kennedy School, Boston, and the US National Labor College, Maryland. He is a member of the CIPD, the British Universities Industrial Relations Association, the International Retail Banking Academy, the Coach Transformation Academy, and the Nigerian Institute of Management Chartered. And also, he's also the son of Prince Alban Gogo Anyanwu, the first sculpture graduate of the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, and a practicing artist since 1965. Tonight, I have with me, in the studio, a young man known as Mr. Gogo Anyanwu Jnr. Hello, Gogo, and welcome to the Inside View.
Thank you very much, Nana. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, it's an opportunity also for me to have a whole prince's son, yes, today with me all the way from Nigeria, to share his, story, yes, with us, and also what you have actually done. Ladies and gentlemen, actually on the line, I would just urge you to share the link and also invite as many people, tonight so that we can all appreciate, this young man's amazing artworks. Not only that, he's won several awards, and his current one is the Zafa Global Appreciation Award at the Nollywood Entertainment Studios, London. Gogo, I would say that, congratulations on that.
Thank you,
Congratulations on
Mama.
that. Yes,
Thank you. Yeah,
yes.
thank
I
you.
mean, you've done extremely well, and you've put, Nigerian, back on the map, through your artworks. Yes, we do appreciate you so, so, so much. After reading your I wouldn't say resume, but then reading your profile, viewers would also want to know who you are. I mean, in your own words, who is Gogo Anyanwu Jr.? Please.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nana. It's a privilege and honor to be here, and I'm glad. Thank you for. I appreciate you for what you're doing so far. Well, Gogo is a young man from Imo State who has been an artist. Well, born into an art family. My father is an artist, a sculptor, and I would say that I've been practicing art since 1982 when I won a national award in Nigeria for art exhibition for primary and secondary schools back then. So, well, currently I'm a PhD student. I have passion in employee rights and employee experience. So that informed my going into HR. I would say that I'm a patient person and I always like to deal with people, and that's where my passion is. But first of all, I'm an artist by birth and by
Mm-hmm.
practice, and that's what I'm doing by the side as we speak. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm just a practicing artist who has passion in HR and employee experience. Thank you.
Wow. So you've got a lot of academic experiences, but then tell us how you developed. Apart from your father being a sculptor, tell us how you developed your art career.
Okay, to start with, well, growing up, I saw myself, drawing. I started with drawing my mom, you know, while she was pregnant with my fourth brother, and I realized that I could draw. And by the time I went into the primary school, I started playing with the poster colors, pencils, and pens as well. So I participated in a national arts competition for primary and secondary school pupils and students, and I came first. So I started nurturing that um, talent in me, of course, with the help of my dad, who is an artist, who was quite glad and happy that I was going to pursue art. And when I finished my secondary school, of course, I was in the junior seminary. Then I went to the University of Uyo to study fine arts, but I specialized in painting. And there I learned the techniques. I learned this, improved my skills in painting. But before I went to the University of Uyo, I had started doing some portraits for people, started doing some landscape paintings. As much as I would say they were raw, because I hadn't developed my skill, I hadn't learned how to um, handle the brush, and I hadn't learned how to mix colors, to be able to paint and produce an artwork. But I just saw myself painting, and that's how I decided to go and study fine art in the University of Uyo. And graduated on top of the class. And since then I've been painting, and I would say it runs in the blood first, and secondly, I was guided by my dad, and afterwards I improved my art and my talent by going to the university to go and study fine arts. Yeah.
Aside your father, who are your biggest, artistic influences?
Okay, great. To start with, I mean, while growing up, I heard of Benin Wanwu. Benin Wanwu is one of the foremost artists in Nigeria, acknowledged around the world. But when I went into the university and started reading about art, history of art, I learned about Van Gogh. Van Gogh is an artist a painter who actually produced a lot of paintings with raw colors. So in art, the process is you have to mix the primary colors to get secondary colors. But Van Gogh did a lot of paintings with raw colors. So his style influenced me. And in fact, while I was a student, even though you had to learn how to paint, following the process, and also learn how to um, turn out paintings, mixing your colors first, mixing them on a palette. But Van Gogh influenced me. And when I graduated, I did quite a number of paintings with some raw colors. And he also painted with palette knife instead of brushes. So is an area that I've been trying to, master in terms of producing paintings with palette knife instead of brushes. So Van Gogh has influenced my style all this while, and Ben Enwonwu, who is a sculptor and also a painter, also influenced me while I was growing up before I got into the university. So these are the two main artists that has influenced me apart from my dad. Yeah.
Great. So, where do you find inspiration? And also, when is your favorite time of the day to create?
Well, for me, I inspiration could come at any point in time. It could be when I'm traveling, when I'm seated in the office, when I'm at home, but mostly I create at night. So when everyone has gone to bed, I won't be distracted with any form of phone calls. I mean, back in the day before the phones came out, I had that peace and quiet time to think and produce artwork. But most of the inspirations could come at any point in time. And when they come, I just pick a piece of paper if I don't have my sketchbook and begin to sketch what I've what I've what are my thoughts. And most times when I visit communities, towns, I come back to the house and begin to imagine those scenes. So those inspirations could come at any point in time, but I produce my paintings, my drawings at night when everyone has gone to bed.
Wow. Wow. We, like most of us, see art um, as a way of communicating, thoughts, and also, to like tell a story. But for you, I mean, in your own, words, how do you think art promotes social development, creativity and self worth?
Well, to start with, artists everywhere in the world
Mm-hmm.
tell stories, right? And it could be stories of what's happening in their community where they come from. It could be stories of things that happen in the location where they live, or stories of the past, history, right? So, and every artist has a particular way of expressing those stories and impressions. So some artists, for sculptors, they sculpt. For painters, they paint. For poets, they go into poetry. But for visual art, artists tell stories. Some That's why you have people who are specialized in graphics, those who turn out the comics that we read on daily basis. Okay, so everybody has his own style and means of expression. There are people who actually do particular paintings with just watercolor on paper, and every individual artist is different from the other. So people, some artists are realists. When they make paintings, they do it with details. You could see the details of somebody's face, somebody's, arms and legs. But some artists are expressive. They just create impressions on a canvas or on paper. But every artist has a particular story beyond the scenes that you see in terms of the village scenes, the town scenes. There's what we call abstract paintings and abstract art, where an artist would have to explain to you what he or she has expressed. But the viewers also have that liberty to interpret every artwork. But every artist has an interpretation for his or her work, right? So expression is different. You could see some paintings that look so rough, but by the time you begin to get explanation from the artist, you begin to appreciate that particular piece of work. So it differs, varies depending on the artist's mood at times. When an artist is very happy, you could also see that in his work. Beyond the commissioned artworks, artist paintings that they do on their own, of course, from inspiration, are usually classical works. And most times they find it very, very difficult to actually let go. So that's what makes artists, quite expressive, and it goes, varies from time to time depending in the era. So you have artists in Nigeria today who are making paintings to depict the situation in Nigeria. If you go to Ghana, for example, if you go to the US, you come to the UK, you see some paintings, some drawings, clearly expressing the situation that we found ourselves in the particular environment, depending on where the artist is. So an artist could choose what kind of expression, and impression that he or she wants to create. It could be global, it could be restricted to a particular community, like I said. But of course, one good thing is that when artists are producing those artworks, they are actually happy, and it gives them a great deal of joy when that's been done.
Wow, thank you for that. I just want us to just look at one of your paintings, and
Okay.
we'll talk about it. I mean, if the technicality, just put any. I think the one. Okay. I don't know whether maybe you can see from here.
Yes, I can see.
The one,
Yes,
yes, the one that's
yes,
got houses, and yes.
yes.
If you can just talk us through the preparation stage and also the illumination stage. What goes into what's like this on the screen? How your ideal environment of working is
Okay.
for you. Yes, and the
Yeah.
story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This particular painting is oil on canvas, right?
Yeah.
It starts off with a sketch, and this scene is a scene in a place called Oshodi in Lagos. Oshodi in Lagos is a, a an area that has a lot of human beings. The population is quite high, and you would hardly find structures in terms of e- environment. Everyone builds as he wills, and you if you come in there, this is Oshodi early in the morning, very early in the morning, probably as early as 5:30 to 6 a.m., right? So you could just see those houses, one person who actually woke up pretty early. So what goes in is, after the sketch, you prepare the canvas. When you prepare the canvas, you do what we call priming. Priming is to prepare the surface of the canvas, because if you paint directly on the canvas, you the colors will seep through the canvas. But when you prime, you're preparing the canvas to apply those colors on it. So after that, you do a preliminary sketch, and with the sketch is a rough sketch. After the rough sketch, you begin to take time to develop the painting. If you look at this painting, you notice that you could see some strokes of the brush, right? You could also see, especially for artists, you could see the palette knife.
Yeah.
So the painting was done with the brush and the palette knife. So you could see the brush strokes, and you could also see the palette knife. And this particular work took me about 1 month to produce. And
Whoa.
what happens is, you at every point in time, at every stage, an artist will sit back, look at his work, appraise what he has done so far in relation to what kind of impression that he wants to create. So when that is done, you continue the work, and some paintings, depending on what the artist wants to achieve, and depending on the inspiration, depending on the impression that he wants to create, could take as much as 1 month, could take as much as 4 months, depending on what you want to do. So it starts from the sketch. You prepare the surface for the painting. You get onto the sketch, then you begin to build, and with time, those sketches begin to have forms, and what we call a three-dimensional form on a two-dimensional surface, right? And
Okay.
that's how an artwork is produced.
Wow. This is a beautiful piece of art. And I mean, those of you who love artwork, if you're looking for a beautiful art painting to put on your living room, in your dining room, or any part of your house, please don't hesitate to call, contact Gogo. And I mean, trust me, he's won a lot of awards. And I know he'll be able to, give you a painting that will, that will actually blow your mind. Yes. And I know you've won several, many, many, many awards, because after just bringing, over 200 paintings, obviously, your recent awards actually speaks, just for itself. So for you, what have critics, actually, and also, collectors said about your work? Have you had any criticisms? You know,
Well, yeah. Well, my first critic is my dad, right? Who is a very senior artist, who helps me to tell me that this is his own impression about my work.
mhm.
Every artwork is unique to every artist. And of course, people have the right to critique your work, senior artists, contemporaries, my lecturers. But what I get all the time is, your work is good, your work is beautiful. There are some people who actually see a particular piece of work, and a work that I feel is not up to the standard I want it to be, and they will say, "Wow, this this is lovely, you know, I would want to have it," for example. So yeah, the apart from artists who have that eye to pick, or to see and appraise artworks, every other person will always tell you that this is good, but there are people who are not trained artists who actually have that talent and skill to actually tell you that, well, this particular painting, is good, but if you had applied a little bit of shade of blue on this side of it, or shade of red, on this side of it, it would have been a lot better. But of course, I mean, once you produce an artwork, as an artist, you don't want to begin to tamper with that particular artwork. But if you are commissioned to do an artwork, then I mean, the person that gave you that job, is at the liberty to actually tell you exactly what he or she wants, but once an artwork is produced by any artist, I mean, you can only just critique it, and that's all. But if you come at the point of the production, then yeah, the artist can actually, take in all your views, and also um, um, put that on the work.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think there's another piece of work that shows not this one. This I think it's a child. If oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Any artwork, please, on the screen. Let's talk about any. Yes, any. Yes. So with this one, is there any specific environment or material that is really integral to your artwork, and also, what is the story behind this artwork on the screen, please?
Okay, great. If you look closely at the painting, you will see the painting was done in 1999, right? Um, I lived in a place called Bonny Island in River State in Nigeria. I lived there for 4 months. I worked there for 4 months, actually. I stayed there for 4 months. So this this is the kind of things that I saw while in Bonny Island. Bonny Island is a place that you have to travel on sea for about 1 hour. So with speedboats, some people travel with just ordinary canoe and all of that. So I mean, these are the kind of things I saw there. You would see some thatch houses, you see some children just wearing shorts only, playing. You could see some of the boats, at the and some of these houses, are very close to the river bank. So that's how the impression what I saw, and you could see on top of the roof, you could see some clothes, you
Yeah.
know, and some that are also hung by the side. So this
Mm.
is what you see in Bonny Island, and what I the work is produced oil on canvas, and strictly with brush all the way. And I paint with acrylic, oil on canvas, acrylic on paper at times. But this particular work is oil on canvas, and that's my impression about Bonny Island in River State.
Wow, this
Yeah.
is this is this is a very very beautiful artwork. Just to put you on the spot,
Yes,
you're
please.
currently just reading PhD, and also you've achieved a lot in different fields. I just want to ask, why do you want to make and sell art? Why? Because you could just easily do something, but for you, why do you want to do that?
Okay. I'm an artist. Like I said, I'm an
Yeah.
artist by birth. I'm an artist by training, and I I sleep out all the time,
Okay.
even though I worked in the bank. What the point I wanted to make to start with is the fact that um, artists can become bankers, artists can become HR professionals, artists could become lecturers in other fields, But it may be difficult for an accountant, for example, or a lawyer to become an artist. So, so I do art now at leisure, and it gives me a lot of time to express myself as
Wonderful.
well. And of course, something that is within me, something that I love, is a practice that I love, which of course I'll continue to practice until I leave this earth.
Mm.
And like I always tell people, yes, I have a passion in managing people and also ensuring employee rights and experience. So that's why I went into HR. But beyond that, I'm an artist at any point in time. I have a lot of sketches on my diary.
Mhm.
Most times when I'm in the office, I'm waiting for a meeting to start, I could just make a sketch,
Wow.
and most of the people will say, "Ah, what are you doing?" Well, I just show them. So, are you an artist? I say, yes, yes, I'm an artist. And an artist is an artist anytime, any day. So that's so basically it gives me joy to draw, to
Hmm.
paint. And one of the things that I want to start doing now is to teach children how
Right.
to draw and paint. So there are so many children who are interested in art, and of course, you see some parents who say, "No, you can't practice, you can't do art. You need to become a doctor, you need to become an accountant, you need to be a
Yeah.
lawyer, and all of that." So beyond what people feel, and the fact that a lot of people may not appreciate art as much as they should, the truth is that in the next 10 years, I always say that everyone is an artist, in as much as you may not have gone to school to read art. So I will continue to practice art, and, the, except when I am no more, then I'll stop practicing art. But I'll continue to be an artist, and, to continue to practice and paint.
Wonderful. I would want us, to talk about another artwork that you've done. Any of the paintings, please. Um, I know. Do you know what you've worked with a lot of people? I mean, any of the art. Yes. So for you, how do you collaborate with other artists? Having won so many awards, how do you collaborate with other artists?
Yeah, with other artists, I mean, what we do is we do exhibitions. That's how artists collaborate with other artists, and we share ideas. Like I said, every artist has his or her own style.
Mm-hmm.
My style definitely is different from the
Yeah.
next artist, and but I mean, one interesting thing about artists is that every artist is inspired by a particular, um probably could be environment, it could be life experiences, but we when we come together, an artist visits a fellow artist, and while they're discussing, there are so many things to learn from each other, from one another. And at the end of the day, we do exhibition, which of course is part of what you're taught in school at the university level. At your final year, you would have to do exhibition, which carries the highest credit amongst all the modules you would have done, for the past 4 years as an undergraduate. So when you get on to do masters in fine arts, which you have to do for 2 years, you also end up in doing exhibition. So artists come together, they collaborate through holding exhibitions, and of course the Society of Nigerian Artists, for example, is there, and meetings are held every year beyond state meetings as well. So that's how we do that. And when artists come together, you will know, and we begin to speak art.
Hmm. Wow, great. With the painting still, there, what makes an artwork, I'll say recognizable? What make an artwork? Because some of us we just admire it, just for the beauty of it. But for you, what makes an artwork really stand out or recognizable?
For me, as an artist, um, every every piece of art is
Mm-hmm.
unique in its own right. Okay, and the artist's style would always be unique. So, but for me, the use of colors on a particular painting is what attracts me most. And it may not be how bright the colors are, but how the colors are mixed, the shades of colors. Because in art, every color has a shade, and um, then I love abstract paintings. It attracts me a lot when I see abstract painting, because it makes you think and begin to wonder what the particular artist is trying to express. So it depends on the particular painting or artwork. There are some artworks you see, and your mind is blown because of the style. And as an artist, if I see a Benin Wong's painting, I could tell. If I see my dad's painting anywhere, I could tell. If I see another artist, I mean, my lecturers, Oki Kinim, for example, Best, Ochibo, so many artists, their works are unique. And once you see it, it stands out. So a particular work stands out based on the artist style, which is unique. And there's no painting or artwork that you say is ugly. There's nothing. So because every piece of artwork is beautiful, because it's unique to the artist, unique to fellow artists, unique to even the viewers. Because when you see a particular painting or artwork, the way you appreciate it is not the same way the next person will. So every artwork is unique. So I may not actually say this particular painting is very outstanding more than the next one. Yeah.
Great. So, I mean, being a student and being, like an advocate, a coach, and all that, how do you manage to, balance all these activities? A student, an artist, a coach. I mean, you've achieved a lot, but how do you have that kind of balance in your life? To be able to do what you're doing now?
Well, I don't, it's all about discipline and planning yourself. Um, for artists, probably for academics, we do a lot of work at night, right? So during the day, I mean, we do things that we ought to do during the day. And of course, during the day, if you engage with people, you engage with colleagues, you engage with friends, family. Um, but at night, you hardly get a phone call.
Yeah.
So when it comes to my art, when it comes to my academic work, I do all of those at night. So the, those are the times you actually have the calmness, the sane environment, the quietness that allows you to pay attention to details, concentrate in what you're doing, and at the same time produce a piece of art, and also if you're writing in the academic world. So that's how I manage my time. It's all about planning. So
Funny.
I have days I do what I want to do, days I paint, days I write, days I read. So that's how I plan myself. So it's not easy, but I mean, you know, it's part of being an artist. You have to take each day as it comes and you plan it and ensure that you achieve all you have set out to do for the day.
Wow. I mean, I'll say that, you've said it all. But I just want you to advise our community, or, to admonish our community, especially where we come from, where every parent wants their son or their daughter to be an accountant, a lawyer, um, you know, an entrepreneur, and all these high class, in quotes, your professions,
Mm.
but finds maybe their child doing what you're doing, but it's not too pleased because in our eyes, it might take a long time for them to maybe get money or maybe earn some money out of that artwork. But sometimes you realize that that is the passion of their child. I just want you to advise such parents so that children will not be found wanting, or find themselves like misplaced in life. Please.
Yeah. Well, I will start this way. I have friends that I've seen who became medical doctors because their parents wanted them to read medicine in school. And once they finished medicine, they practiced. After a while, they dropped it off and started doing business, as an example. So, I mean, back in the day when, you have a family, for example, a family in Onitsha, their dad was a lawyer. Seven of them became lawyers, including their mom. But it's important for parents to understand that people excel in whatever they are extremely passionate about. When you are passionate about a particular aspect of life, maybe you notice that your child wants to become a chef, for example, and you want to talk the child out of being a chef, you realize that most times children during our time would always obey what we are, asked to do. But these days, where a lot could be done from anywhere, and children are even more skilled than you can imagine. Um, Parents should actually let their children um, pursue their dream, their passion, especially. Our role is to guide children as much as we can, because once you get a child to deviate from what he or she wants to do, it becomes a problem. I've seen someone who wanted to be a poet, but the parents insisted that she must read medicine. And of course, somewhere along the line, after 4 years in the university, she had to drop off medicine to begin to pursue something else entirely. And of course, today she's a happier person. Um, but some people are not that lucky, you know, derails them from that time. And before they know what is happening, they find it very difficult to get back on their feet.
On track, yeah.
So, my sincere advice is these days, people can actually live their dream. And we have seen people who are artists and they're doing something else. We have seen people who are medical doctors and they have other things they are doing because they, when you speak to them, they'll tell you, "Oh, I'm a medical doctor, but my passion is in cooking, for example. My passion is in trading." So difficult for, especially now, for people to tailor and insist that their children should do this. My grandfather was very educated, wanted my dad to become a lawyer. And of course, when my dad took admission in ABU Zaria to study fine arts, he didn't tell the dad. Of course, back in the day, you could only write your child. Phone calls weren't there, and by the time my dad returned, halfway, he had he had gone to Nsukka to go and continue his fine art when they created Nsukka. So I mean, we situations like that arise, but I mean, some people are not as lucky as others. So I would honestly advise parents to let their children pursue their dream, and most importantly, what what they are passionate about, because it pays off at the end of the day. For example, anybody who is doing a doctorate degree would excel, would conclude that doctorate degree if you're doing it in an area you are passionate about. And the same thing in every other aspect of life. Whatever you want to do, make sure you're passionate about it.
Great. So maybe to the young boy, actually watching you and wants to follow your footsteps, what kind of advice would you want to give to that person? Um, any form of advice that you want to share?
Okay, great. I mean, um, the good thing now is that if you in every environment you would identify an artist. For a young lad, for a young boy or a young lady who wants to pursue art, you know, and young people these days are good with the internet. Google about artists around you. If you don't know any, begin to understand what that person is doing. Ask questions, and people are willing to teach if you ask. So I would advise that they pay attention to the environment and begin to ask their parents if they know of any artists. But these days that most youngsters have phones, they can actually do those things online, and they can also learn art online as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be my advice. But what you learn from somebody face to face, seeing someone paint real, um, it's more impactful, and the guide is more beneficial than the one you do online. So the young ones should actually make efforts to begin to learn art now, so that by the time you get into the university to learn fine art, you have become a master, and what you're going to do is to sharpen your skills at the university level. So that would be my candid advice.
Since we are talking about the diary of an artist, we don't know what your diary is. We just, we just want you to take us into your world, and also we just want you to describe the best artwork that you've ever done. to us?
that's, that's a difficult one though. But
It is. It is.
yeah, that's a difficult one though.
Mhm.
For me, to start with, the best artwork I would say I've ever done is my project. My project in school when I graduated from University of Uyo was about Mbari art. Mbari art, known as Mbari culture in Imo State, right? Where you have, back in those days, you have a shrine of that the Igbos kept a shrine where people come, those who are looking for fruits of the womb, those who have a particular issue in life, they come there, and you could see the Mbari culture, the artwork in terms of relief sculpture of those idols, you know. So I did, my project was on Mbari culture, a pictorial view. So I did a 10 feet by 20 feet painting of Mbari shrine, pictorial view. So the shrine at the center of attraction of the painting, but the environment of the shrine is what I appreciated most, creating, depicting a typical environment of where the gods are, you know. The colors also showed the mood. And for me, I think that was the best painting I've ever done in my life. um I may be wrong. My dad sees it and says, well, that's for me, that's my own um view, you know. But all along, there are some other paintings I've done which I found very difficult. Some of the paintings I have are still paintings that were done in the early 90s, late 90s, that I find it very difficult to let go, you know. So um I wouldn't actually appraise beyond my project
Yeah.
work. The other paintings have been actually outstanding for me, and at least when people begin to order your paintings and commission you to do some work, then you begin to, you know, appreciate that as well. So I did one mural painting. Mural painting is the ones that you do on the wall
On the wall.
some
Yeah.
time ago. That was year 2000, right? So I mean, that was, you know, quite stressful to paint on a wall, and you know, so it, it's not been an easy journey, you know. That of course, as a young man in school, then, you know, looking for money was important. So
Yeah.
I did a lot of paintings for people, especially those in Mobile, Exxon Mobile in Eket, and, you know, people who wanted portraits, abstract paintings, you know. I did a lot then, and since then I've been painting, but not necessarily on the commercial basis now. People give me paintings to do for them, but I do my own paintings that I keep, and I'm planning to do an exhibition sometime next year,
Next year.
you know.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's, you know, in a nutshell, that's what I do. So try to manage my time to, you know, as a student now, study, and at the same time do my paintings as well and work. So that's for
Great.
now, that's how my life is, you know. And I'll start the journey of sometime this year, how to teach children um art, how to paint and draw,
Great.
and give them a bit of history of art, you
Mm-hmm.
know, so they can have an idea and begin to think of art and see if that's what they want to get into in future.
Well, that's wonderful.
No,
That's
it's,
wonderful. Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, it sounds very, very laudable, honestly. My sister, the one after me, is a great artist. Yes, as well. And so I think maybe if she's watching, maybe yes, she can identify, yes, with what's like you're saying.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to maybe buy any of your artwork, you know, I mean, how can people contact you? Is there any number that maybe people can reach you on? So
Yeah,
that
definitely. Sure, sure. I mean, first the fastest way to reach me is via the email, right? Yeah, via my email. Once you send me an email, rest assured, then I'll get it. So that's the fastest way you can reach me. And my email is chimaroge@gmail.com. Chimaroge.
Chimaroge. Okay, Chimaroge.
Chimaroge is spelled CHIMAROGE
CHIMAROGE. Okay,
Yes, at
Chimaroge.
gmail.com.
.com. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that's fine.
So
And apart from your email, any number or
yeah, my yeah, anyway, I mean, I've got
I mean
my
a number that you I mean you think I mean it would be convenient for you because you wouldn't want the whole world to be calling you even when you're asleep. So a number that you think is a business number that you can actually put it out there, please.
yeah, okay. I mean, for 079 328.
328. Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine. So we'll put, the contact details. So anyone wanting to reach out, on our dear brother, yeah, this is the detail, these are the details that is
yeah,
actually rolling. So please take note of that and contact Gogo Anyanwu Jr. for any of his lovely paintings. You can all testify that, his paintings are, out of this world and he's done extremely well for himself. So please let us all patronize his artwork. Buy one as a present. It could be maybe for the Valentine. It could be for Easter present, or even a birthday present, or even Christmas present. Let us support our own. Let us support his artwork to go far, and also to parents out there that that are wanting their children to go into art or parents who who have actually recognized that their children are really 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 good at art. We've all heard the Gogo will be organizing art exhibition next year, and also art class for the young ones. So please, if you want your child or your children to be in tune with nature, and also to tell their stories or express their feelings through artwork, please don't hesitate to contact Gogo on the number that is on the screen. You can email him, or yes, you can call him as well. And sure, I think he'll be so happy to answer your call and also to be of any support that like he can to your child or maybe to your children. So please let us push our children, yes, into art. And instead of just being on the screen all day, let us try and redirect, that time into something, creative. And I think it will help, our children very, 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 very much. Yes, so art to the world, and also Gogo's painting, also to the world. Let us support him. Before we go, I just want to ask, something that has been on my mind. How do artists of deep, like of different epochs depict the world of beauty and as and aesthetics? I mean, sorry, and that I do stutter, so sometimes I do, struggle to put some words out there. So please pardon me for that. Yeah.
okay. I mean, you know, eh, well, like I said before, that artists are unique in their own way,
Mm-hmm.
as much as every artwork. Um, well, during the time of Bed Enwonwo, I mean, the the way artists express themselves then, you know, was basically through maybe exhibitions. They had they didn't have the opportunity to put things on the internet back in the day, and for every artist's work, the truth about artists that they beyond the paintings that people commission them to do, they find it very difficult to let go of the artworks.
Mm.
That's the truth. And you just can't imagine why. A lot of people say that, yeah, that artists' artworks, become more expensive when they are gone. And you you for example, the paintings of Michelangelo, the paintings of Leonardo da Vinci, the paintings of Van Gogh, Benin one was work, because those artists are no longer there to produce those unique artworks that
Mm-hmm.
are just unique to them because of their style,
Style.
so becomes more expensive when you see any of them anywhere, because the Van Gogh, the Benoit one was don't produce any artwork again. It is people who may have trained under them. And of course, my style is different from my dad's style,
Okay.
even though he's my father and
Mm-hmm.
a senior artist. So, when artists are no more, they're no longer there to produce those works. So become special.
Special.
So now it's a lot easier for artists to actually, um, get their works out there. But still, what most artists do, they do exhibitions,
Mm.
beyond some artists who paint and put it up on Facebook, LinkedIn, and all of that. If you watch carefully, it's not all artists that do that. Everyone has a way of expression. But when you attend any exhibition, that's when you begin to appreciate how artists
Mm.
relate to the society. You could see a lot of artworks telling special stories about what is happening in our world. So that's where you begin to appreciate and artists for what they do, the time they have put into a particular work. So that's how these things work. And frankly speaking, those paintings, those artworks, that are in, especially from the Benin Kingdom, that you have in the British museums and other places in the world, where artworks produced by artists who are no more. And that's why we've been on the path of, repatriating those paintings and those artworks, especially the one that was used for Festac 77. So that's how these things work. And artists will continue to produce artworks, and everyone has a special way of expressing him or herself, and also telling stories about the society. The poets write,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but the visual artists, express and
Yeah.
make impressions to tell stories about what is happening in the society.
Wow. Before we go, I think I'll just let the technical team just put your paintings one by one, so that friends and family can see your artwork. And if anybody wants to buy any of your artwork, yes, they can actually contact you. So this is one of Gogo's painting, and it's so beautiful, so beautiful. Yes, if you can have the next one, please. Yes. Oh, this is amazing. This is awesome, awesome. And please, the next one, yes, and the last one, if there's any. Yes, thank you so much. So, Gogo, is there any message that you have for your fans, your loved ones, and also for your family, actually watching you. Any message
Okay.
you tell them?
All right.
Please.
Thank you so much. And for my family, I'll continue to appreciate them. For my dad, who has been a great source of inspiration, Prince Alban Gogo Anyanwu Senior, he's been a source of inspiration, and he's 88 going to 89. And yes, my mom, my brothers, and my uncles, you know, my wife, my children, my friends, who have been able to accommodate me with my, they've been part of my journey, and my story will not be complete without them, and I want to express appreciation to all of them. I want to express appreciation to my friends as well, colleagues, fellow artists, my lecturers who brought me up in art. I want to appreciate them, and friends that have met along the line. So it's been a great pleasure, sharing my story with these people, and I'll continue to be grateful, and I look forward to seeing better artists in future, the young ones growing, who obviously will do better because they are more skilled in terms of what you could do with the computer these days,
Mhm.
and I can only encourage them to hold on to their passion, which is very important, and hard work pays. Continue to do what you're doing, and for me, I'll continue to be an artist. I won't stop, and I look forward to my exhibition next year.
Wonderful. I like the way you said you continue to be an artist. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for honoring my invitation to feature on the Inside View, and also to show the world um, what you can do with a paint and also the brush. To tell the world what's on your mind, and also to share with us your story through your artwork. Thank you so much. And I just want to tell our parents, if your child is interested in art, please encourage him or her. Encourage him or her, because there's nothing confusing than just just pushing your child into a profession that he or she might not be interested, than to encourage him or her to pursue their dream. There's nothing wrong with that. And so to the young boy, or like to the young girl that also wants to go into art, just like our brother said, our uncle said, our father said, it's all about hard work, and also not giving up on your passion. Pursue your passion. Pursue your passion, and you find happiness, and also you find fulfillment. So, we've seen, the amazing work that Gogo has done, that has actually won him numerous awards. And we can all appreciate that, his artwork is not just any artwork, but it's something, from within, something that he really loves doing. And it shows, on, like on his canvas. And I think we should just get our young ones out there instead of just being on the tablet for hours. This spring, this summer, yes, let's get our children to do some painting. Let's get our children to do some painting. So on that note, we'll end this discussion. And also, if anybody wants to, to buy any of his artwork, please, the number is on the screen. The email is on the screen. Please contact him. Or if you want any special painting that maybe you want him to actually, do for you, I have a feeling, yes, you'll be able also to do. So please contact him for any artwork that you might want. So thank you so much for your company, and thank you for tuning in once again. So take care and enjoy, the rest of the week. Bye bye.
Thank you.